Welcome to the local music scene. With me today is the band Centerlink.
How you doing?
Hey guys.
How you doing?
All right.
What's going on?
Well, let's start with your name, where you're from, and what instrument you play in the band. We'll start
I'm
with the
Billy
back.
Kay. I'm from Hyde Park, Mass, and I play bass and lead vocals.
I'm John Carrata. I'm from Rosendale, Mass, and I play the drums.
I'm Parky from Whitman, Mass. I play guitar and lead vocals.
Very good. All right, guys. Let's start with the band name Centerlink. Where does it come from?
Yeah, well, I was an auto technician for 17 years, and Centerlink is a piece of the steering component that connects both the wheels of your car to your steering wheel. And we'd gone through like thousands of names, try to find a good band name that was original that nobody had, and we went on MySpace and all different websites, and there was hundreds of bands with all those names and everything. So I hit Centerlink and I checked all the spaces and nothing came up. So something that was original that nobody had.
There you go.
So
Nice job. It's original. You come up with
Yeah.
a creative
And we had
idea
a
that means
logo,
something.
too, to go with it. So.
I initially didn't like the name, and I must have had a list of 50 names. I'm like, I got to find something better. And then eventually it kind of grew on me, and they were like, no one has it. And I was, okay, we'll take it then.
Yeah.
There you
Now I
go.
like it. Now I think
Yeah.
it's a great
No, I
name.
like
you
it.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely catchy. It definitely works. Sounds good. How'd the band get together?
Well, probably about 5 years ago, my mom had passed away. I've been friends with him since I was 14 years old, and I used to play with him years ago, and I hadn't seen him for about 5 or 6, 7 years, somewhere around there. So after she passed, I called him up and wanted him to go to the wake, and he came to the wake, and I used to be in a band with Bill as well, and so basically we got together, and I asked him if I have an electronic drum set at my house. So I wanted him to help me record some things. So we went out and got a computer, laptop computer, and all that stuff. And before we know it, we were jamming together, and I said, hey, let's grab a bass player. We grabbed him. I used to be in a band called Upper Hand with him. And that's how it formed. And that was 5 years ago, and now we're playing shows and everything else, and here we are today.
Nice.
Yep.
It's always great when you have that comradeship to start, so
Yeah.
you know that it's going to work.
Yeah.
Definitely. Very cool, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So who inspires you as far as other bands go?
Oh.
anything metal,
Yeah.
Pantera, Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax, I mean even Rush.
Yeah.
Rush,
You know.
Metallica,
Mm-hmm.
The old school Van Halen,
Yeah.
Kiss, Iron Maiden. You know.
White Zombie,
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
yeah, all that stuff.
All
Sabbath.
The, all the
Megadeth.
must knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Good call. Good call. All right. Let's talk about the lyrics. Where do the lyrics and messages come from, and what's the songwriting process like for you guys?
Well, a lot of the lyrics, I mean, we all write lyrics.
Okay.
I basically use emotion and circumstances
All right.
to write lyrics. So I might take my own circumstances of something I saw, or something, even a movie, or something that happened to me personally, and I use the emotion, and I'll just come up with a title, and just go from there, and and then I'll pass it to him.
Yeah.
He'll tweak it a little bit,
There you go.
and these guys work on it, on the music, and before you know it, I got the song.
Yeah. Initially, we started, he'd write songs. Whoever sang it wrote it, more or less.
Yeah.
In the past few years, now the more we play, it's gotten to where we just can do it together. And the lyrics come from everywhere. I'm big on catchphrases and catchy lines, and
Yeah.
that's just something to get me rolling. Pat has a whole different process than I do, but it seems to work in the context of what we're doing.
Perfect. Yeah. That's a good method.
Yeah, yeah.
You're all sharing the ideas. I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So, what makes Centerlink different from other bands that are out there today?
We're going back to old school metal. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
basically like straightforward, no Cookie Monster vocals, but
Yeah.
still got the heavy riffs and, songs that make you move. I mean, we basically, we've played so many shows that, at least around the Boston area. We don't play a lot out in Worcester because it's a long drive, but it'd be nice to get out there and try to get into that scene. But we were out there in that scene, and a lot of the metal bands out there were all just kind of like death metal and like Cookie Monster vocals, and it's like, we kind of want to just bring back high energy,
Yeah.
and you know,
heavy music with melody.
Absolutely.
Catchy.
Yeah,
Catchy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you hear a song, and like I do this to them a lot at the gigs. So we'll watch a band, they'll play. I'll say, "Remember any of the songs? Tell me how one of the songs goes. Hum it back to me."
Yeah.
And it's just noise, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's what I like
Catchy
about
is what
you
it's all
guys.
about.
yep.
I like that. I noticed that right away. It's like there's a lot of bands out there now that are those Cookie Monster vocals, like
Yeah.
all the newer bands that you hear today.
Yeah.
And you can't distinguish what they're singing about.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have that hard, edgy sound, but you want to hear what you're singing. You know, there's a message there too. It's not just rah rah, you know.
Cool.
And I like that.
you don't have to
There's no
open
point
up the
in having a
C
message.
yeah, you don't have to open
Exactly.
up the CD label and read the lyrics to figure out what he's saying.
Right.
You know, you at least can kind of figure out what we're saying up on the stage. you know,
Exactly.
so.
Yeah.
Very cool, guys. Very cool. So, what do you guys enjoy besides making music together? Hobbies, things like that.
Well,
Football. You know,
yeah, I love watching
There you go.
football. Love baseball. Love
Sure.
the Red Sox.
Other sports. I like to draw. You know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
going to the beach, stuff like that.
Sure.
Play darts, you know, play pool. I enjoy my family. I got 2 young boys, and they take up a lot of my time.
Yeah, I bet.
So, but they're a lot of fun. So,
Cool.
you
A
know,
little social drinking doesn't hurt either.
Hey, never hurts at all.
exactly.
Absolutely. Cool, guys. All right. How about a story about a particular show that went well or went really bad?
Well, we got 2 of them. One
Well,
that went well, and one went really bad.
All right, let's hear them both then.
All right, let's start with the bad first.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
start with the bad
All right.
first. You want to tell it or?
Yeah, you tell it.
All right, we played this place called Rob Jack's in Everett, and never play there ever.
Okay.
But we got there. He asked us to play there on a Sunday, of all days, and like knew it was a bad idea to begin with. But we went down there anyway, and we ended up playing for 2 people at the bar and the bartender, and who happened to own the bar. And so we started ripping our set off, and right above the doorway to the entrance of the place, he had a big platform, and he had his drum set set up on top there. And we're about 2 songs in, and all of a sudden we're like,
We're hearing
what's
other
going on?
drums.
Yeah, well, what's going on? Like, I turned to look at him. I'm like, what the heck are you doing back there? Right? And
like,
and he's
what's
looking at me
going on?
like, what's going on? And we look up, and he's up on his drum set, like trying to play to our set.
Oh
And he's like, never heard any of our music before. And we're just like, at that point, we shut it down. And I mean, he was ready to just, you know,
Yeah.
kill the guy.
You're gonna
But
learn a harsh lesson.
yeah.
I bet.
That was furious. I was furious. Nobody was
Got
there to
under our
begin with.
skin a bit, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
but you know, I mean, a lot of people who, you know, promote these shows and try to put the shows together and stuff like that, they're relying on you to bring people in instead of, you know, relying on promoting it themselves and trying to get, you know, more people down. And I think that's what this music scene in like Boston is kind of lost, you know, like, because back in the early 80s, you would go to a club and there'd be, you know, 100 people there, you know, just going to check out bands. They don't know who was there, but they were just going to hang out and, you know, be with their friends and check out bands and stuff. And nowadays, you know, those kids are all more interested in Guitar Hero and playing, you know, Sony PlayStation, and they don't go down to the bars or the clubs. So they rely on you to bring people in, and they don't promote their venues at all. You
Yeah.
know, so
That was a bad show.
that was a very bad show.
It was a lot better scene years ago. Because I used to go to every Sunday, the hardcore show, every Sunday. You'd be 300 deep, and you'd see a lot of the same faces every week.
Yeah.
And that's gone. That's long gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard these days. I
How
agree
about the best
completely.
show, though?
Yeah, best show. What do you think? Copperfields? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Well, the Paradise.
Yeah, we played at the Paradise, which was a great show too. But I think Copperfields was
The crowd reaction.
was fantastic, and it was unfortunate too because we have a flip camera that we record some video with, and I was standing up on the stage, and the kid who was setting it up, Billy's like, "How do you turn this thing on?" And I reached down, and I pressed the button, and I turned the camera on, not turning it back off. So he went and set the camera up and shut it off. But we didn't get any video of the
it's
show.
one of the only shows we don't have video of.
But we had great crowd reaction, and it was so funny. There was this couple that was sitting in front of us, and they weren't there for any of the bands. They were just there to check out the scene and stuff. And we ripped through the first song, and as soon as we finished the first song, the woman's like, "What are you guys doing here?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it was great.
We got an encore of that.
Yeah,
Nice.
Which has never happened to us before
That's
that
cool.
night. So
They said we were the heaviest band to ever play Copperfields.
yeah,
Yeah, nice.
but they loved us.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that was probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, that was a happy moment for us.
Way to make an impression there. There you go.
Yeah.
Good job. All right. You guys get a CD fans can check out?
Well, we have tons of music on MySpace. If you go to myspace.com/Centerlink, if you go to reverbnation.com/Centerlink, we got tons of music up there. We are on Facebook.
Okay.
You also go to YouTube and Centerlink Video. We got videos of our live shows posted up there. If you come to one of our shows, you get a free promotional CD.
Sounds good.
So we got tons of music recorded, but nothing like done in like a professional recording studio. So they are all demos, but they're good for what they are.
Yeah. Hey, everything in its time, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. It gives you something to listen to and make them come back. You know.
Exactly.
Well, that's all I got for you guys.
All right.
I'd like to thank you for
Thanks
coming
your
on.
time.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
well, thank
having us
you.
today.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.